This is a list of airline codes. The table lists IATA's 2-character airline designators, Icao's 3-character airline designators and the airline call signs. Historical assignments are also included. IATA Airline Designator, IATA Airline Designators, sometimes called IATA reservation codes, are 2-character codes assigned by the International Air Transport Association to the world's airlines. The standard is described in IATA's Standard Schedules Information Manual and the codes themselves are described in IATA's Airline Coding Directory. Airline designator codes follow the format XXA, that is, 2 alphanumeric characters followed by an optional letter. Although the IATA standard provides for 3-character airline designators, IATA has not used the optional 3rd character in any assigned code. This is because some legacy computer systems, especially the central reservation systems, have failed to comply with the standard, notwithstanding the fact that it has been in place for 20 years. The codes issued to date comply with IATA Resolution 762, which provides for only 2 characters. These codes thus comply with the current airline designator standard, but use only a limited subset of its possible range. There are 3 types of designator: unique, numeric alpha and control duplicate. IATA airline designators are used to identify an airline for commercial purposes in reservations, timetables, tickets, tariffs, airway bills and in telecommunications. A flight designator is the concatenation of the airline designator, XXA, and the numeric flight number, N, plus an optional 1-letter operational suffix. Therefore, the full format of a flight designator is XXA, A. After an airline is delisted, IATA can make the code available for reuse after 6 months and can issue control duplicates. Control duplicates are issued to regional airlines whose destinations are not likely to overlap, so that the same code is shared by 2 airlines. The control duplicate is denoted here, and in IATA literature, with an asterisk. IATA also issues an accounting or prefix code. This number is used on tickets as the first 3 characters of the ticket number. The IATA codes originally based on the Icao designators which were issued in 1947 as 2-letter airline identification codes. Icao Airline Designator. The Icao Airline Designator is a code assigned by the International Civil Aviation Organization to aircraft operating agencies, aeronautical authorities, and services related to international aviation, each of whom is allocated both a 3-letter designator and a telephony designator. These codes are unique by airline, unlike the IATA Airline Designator codes. The designators are listed in Icao Document 8585. Designators for aircraft operating agencies, aeronautical authorities and services. Icao codes have been issued since 1947. The Icao codes originally based on a 2-letter system and were identical to the airline codes used by IATA. After an airline joined IATA, its existing Icao 2-letter code was taken over as IATA code. So in the 1970s the abbreviation BA was the Icao code and the IATA code of British Airways, while non-IATA airlines like Courtline used their 2-letter abbreviation as Icao code only. In the early 1980s Icao introduced the current 3-letter system due to the increasing number of airlines. It became the official new standard system in November 1987. An example is, Operator American Airlines, 3-letter designator, AAL, telephony designator, American. Certain combinations of letters, for example SOS, are not allocated to avoid confusion with other systems. Other designators, particularly those starting with Y and Z, are reserved for government organizations. The designator YYY is used for operators that do not have a code allocated. Call signs. Most airlines employ a call sign that is normally spoken during air-band radio transmissions. As by Icao Annex 10 Chapter 5.2.1.7.2.1, a call sign shall be one of the following types: Type A, the characters corresponding to the registration marking of the aircraft. Type B, the telephony designator of the aircraft operating agency, followed by the last 4 characters of the registration marking of the aircraft. Type C, the telephony designator of the aircraft operating agency, followed by the flight identification. The one most widely used within commercial aviation is Type C. The flight identification is very often the same as the flight number, though this is not always the case. In case of call sign confusion, a different flight identification can be chosen, but the flight number will remain the same. Call sign confusion happens when 2 or more flights with similar flight numbers fly close to each other, for example, KLM 645 and KLM 649 or BAW 446 and BAW 664. The flight number is published in an airline's public timetable and appears on the arrivals and departure screens in the airport terminals. In cases of emergency, the airline name and flight number, rather than the call sign, are normally mentioned by the main news media. Some call signs are less obviously associated with a particular airline than others. This might be for historic reasons, or possibly to avoid confusion with a call sign used by an established airline. Companies' assigned names may change as a result of mergers, acquisitions, or change in company name or status. British Airways uses BOAC's old call sign, as British Airways was formed by a merger of BOAC and British European Airways. Country names can also change over time and new call signs may be agreed in substitution for traditional ones. The country shown alongside an airline's call sign is that wherein most of its aircraft are believed to be registered, which may not always be the same as the country in which the firm is officially incorporated or registered. There are many other airlines in business whose radio call signs are more obviously derived from the trading name. The call sign should ideally resemble the operator's name or function and not be confused with call signs used by other operators. The call sign should be easily and phonetically pronounceable in at least English, the international language of aviation. For example, Air France's call sign is Air France since France is the phonetic spelling of France. See also, International Air Transport Association Airport Code, International Civil Aviation Organization Airport Code, Notes. References. External links, International Civil Aviation Organization Official Site, Icao Online Publications Purchasing Official Site, IATA's Airline and Airport Code Search, Airline Designator /Code Database Search, Morton, Bear and Agnew International Aviation Oracle.